I'm going to try and keep the bullet points to 15 minutes, 20 minutes of this entire thing. Mars was the god of war, and according to the story, Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus, the mythical twin founders of Rome. The Virgin was raped by Mars while she slept, and the hairpin that she dropped to the ground sprang up two twin trees. Mars, the god of war. This is the Washington Arch. In the middle of the Washington Arch are the twin towers that were destroyed in order to make way for the new world, One World Freedom Tower. On the top of the One World Freedom Tower is a number 666 written, "We remember, we rebuild, we come back stronger." WWW is alphanumeric 666. These were destroyed to make place for the new race of beings. The twins represented the human condition. This is a Jaguar commercial that was produced in 2014, telegraphing what's about to happen, included with two other commercials that I'll be showing you.
This royal throne of kings,
this sceptred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars.
Seat of Mars, god of war, father of the twins that started Rome. In this commercial, British villains in 2014, Tom Hiddleston, who also played Loki in the Avengers, which was a being from another galaxy to take over Earth. Same guy's playing this.
But what makes a great villain? Firstly, you need to sound distinct. Speak with eloquence and lets everyone know who's in charge.
Man, lets everyone know who's in charge. The devil's in charge. Let's just get to the scene.
Our villain should have style.
He pops the trunk. He says a villain should have style. On the trunk is VXV. It means 5 by 5, like half and half. The number is 108 on the screen, on the license plate. 108. I'll show you that right now. The mystic meaning of the number 108. 108 represents the whole of existence. Think One World Freedom Tower. They're saying they've completed everything. The symbol for 108 is the pentagram, because there's a 108-degree angle in every corner that the star is made. And 108 also represents the other religions of the world. The number 108 is the number 801 upside down and backwards. 801 is the number for our Creator God, Alpha and the Omega. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord. It is also the name for the Creator. It is the number in Gematria for Alpha and Omega, as well as the Creator, right here. So on the license plate, you're watching a commercial where they're showing that they are God, but upside down and backwards. As this car comes down the ramp, the villain sets off a charge to stay ahead of his competition by turning it the opposite direction.
It's important that the villain has the means to stay one step ahead. World domination starts with attention to detail. Take this tiny switch, for example. It changes everything.
This tiny switch changes everything.
Starts with attention to detail. Take this tiny switch, for example.
He hit the switch like he's launching nukes. It changes everything, because when the Antichrist, which this is a representation of, hits that switch, everything changes in that moment. That's when the New World Order begins. After he hits the switch, he says, "Now brace yourselves."
Brace yourselves.
Right there.
It changes everything. Now brace yourselves.
Now he picks up the rest of the dialogue from King Richard II, and he starts with this part: "This happy breed of men because they are a breed of men. It's exactly what they are. It's a new breed that was formed in the garden through the DNA of the serpent and the DNA of the woman, half and half. That's what this is about. This new breed of men is about to take over the world. Let's see.
Now brace yourselves. This happy breed of men, this little world, this precious stone set in the silver sea, against the envy of less happier lands. This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England, it's all mine.
He says, it's all mine, this realm. It's all mine. That's Satan using a commercial to speak to you. Stay tuned. We're going to keep breaking it down. Okay, once again, these three commercials are what we're using. We've already done this one. British Villain's Master Plan is next.
It's time for a change.
It's time for a change. Here's what it is. This is the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist telegraphing. It's time for a change. Here's Obama's logo, the sun rising over the stripes of the American flag. That is in the Quran. It is the sun rising from the place of its setting, which is the beginning of the Mahdi's rule, the Antichrist to us that are true Christians. The Mahdi. That's Obama's logo. It's time for a change. The change that they're talking about is this change. This is the Arch of Titus, which represents the destruction of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem in 70 AD. Here is an exact replica of the Arch of Titus in New York. In the dead center of the arch are the Twin Towers. The Rockefellers are the ones that make the U.S. currency, and they are the ones that put the Twin Towers in that location. I'll slide the Twin Towers over there so you can see it. There's the Twin Towers on the U.S. $20 bill burning. And that's what that would look like right between that arch. The Rockefellers are responsible for this image on the money, as well as the location of the Twin Towers. The Twin Towers represent twin DNAs, the seed of the serpent, seed of the woman. The apotheosis, or the Arch of Titus, represents the apotheosis of Titus, which is man becoming a god. There it is, identical replica. It's got Washington on this arch, and on the arch it says exitus acta probat, which means the deed is justified by the outcome. The outcome is a new race of human beings that serve Satan only.
A new boss. It's time for a change. A new plan needs
a new boss. A new plan needs a new boss. Master, Baal, Lord and Master.
A new boss. It's time for something more surprising.
Something more surprising. Get to that in a minute.
British. New Jaguar. We've already created a beast.
Here's the image for they've already created a beast. Here's the empirical formula for it, or here's the structure for the atom. OH on top, OH on bottom. It is cryptic.
It's time for a new animal with the same potent DNA.
It's time for a new animal. They've already created a beast. Now it's time for a new animal with the same potent DNA. There's the DNA they're talking about. That's the eye of the devil. That's the capstone. And that's representing the new race of beings, just like the One World Freedom Tower. The OH for the formula for they've already created a beast. It says OH, the element of surprise. It's a joke. They're making fun of us. OH, the element of surprise. That's why he said the new boss has some things.
It's time for a change. A new plan needs a new boss. It's time for something more surprising.
Something more surprising. What he's talking about is the element of surprise, alarmos. They're making a joke. The number 231, I'll show you that in a minute. The atomic number 231. The significance of the number 231 is the gates of the Sefer Yetzirah. Here is an image of what the Sefer Yetzirah is. The Sefer Yetzirah is the Kabbalah book of formation or the book of creation. Remember, the same potent DNA was the eye under the triangle. That's the all-seeing eye. Here is the Kabbalah associated with the book of formation, the Sefer Yetzirah. That's why the number 231 is associated with alarmos. It's a joke. This is the gate of the Sefer Yetzirah. It is a portal. It's the book of the origin of the creation. It's the creation of the all-seeing eye and the flesh. Notice the columns on the bottom. They have this twisted DNA look that turns into a plant, and it is an arch. The same thing as the Arch of Palmyra, the same thing as the Arch of Titus, the same thing as the Arch of Washington. They're all replications of this. It's all goes back to this. When I said the word replications, I mean it's a manifestation of the beginning of all things, and when the enemy came through the arch. Let me show you the arch of the Sefer Yetzirah next to the columns in the Vatican. They're identical. I'll show you another picture. The bottom has the twisted DNA look, and the tops have the plants that are growing. Exactly as the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation from the Kabbalah, which was the creation of the all-seeing eye in humanity. Here are the representations of the identical columns, with the identical formation at the bottom and the identical formation at the top, and the pillars themselves are twisted. It is a representation of the beginning of all flesh. And here is an archway behind the altar, which is identical to the Arch of Titus, which is the apotheosis of man. Now we'll continue with the commercial, and the commercial will play out that a new race of man is about to take center stage, and that's what I've been telling everybody from the beginning, that it was DNA in the garden, that seed of the serpent, seed of the woman, which formed what is currently the human race, and that race is ending now, and now the devil's race, which is the new world order, and the new animal is about to take over. And here it is telegraphed in this commercial.
British Jaguar. We've already created a beast. Now it's time for a new animal with the same potent DNA.
It's time for a new animal. Talking about the very beginning of the world was created a beast. That's us. And it's time for a new animal, and that's what's going to be unleashed on the earth when they press the button and nuke us.
But even more ruthlessly efficient.
But even more ruthlessly efficient. Now the cars turn from white to red. That's very significant because the Arch of Palmyra was white and they lit it up red.
Unleash the cats.
He uses the word unleash. The beast will be unleashed on the earth. The word cat is Combined Aerial Target Systems. Release the Combined Aerial Target Systems. And as soon as the logo, by the way, that is upside down, there it is. The logo is upside down, release the cats. And as soon as that thing turns right side up and lands on the front of that car, it represents a new race of beings that's here to kill everyone. Satan was a murderer from the beginning, and he's going to be a murderer at the end. And then the car is energized. The new animal is energized. There it is. The new animal receives the energy of Satan and turns into a totally new creature, and it's here to kill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right.
This guy played Loki. This guy played the Beast in X-Men. So you have the devil and the Beast carrying out the plans. They're launching the nukes. It represents the little switch that he talked about in the previous commercial. This changes everything. He flips the switch and it will change everything because everyone's about to die. This is a representation of the right side up, upside down paradigm. That's where you can see the car's reflection in the water as they launch, which is a representation of missiles launching. There's the cars in the orientation of missiles launching.
Go on, my pretty ones, go on. Go on.
Here again on this commercial, it says arriving in 2016. They're telegraphing what they're doing. It looks like it's arriving now, folks. So just FYI. Here's an image from the commercials where he said, we already created a beast, and he's talking about this white car. And then he presses his hand out and the skin's removed. And then he says, but it's time for a whole new animal. And this is the whole new animal, the red car. Okay, I want to show you what he's talking about. There's the Arch of Palmyra, the Arch of Baal. Remember the commercial? It's time for a new master. Okay, the 2-in-1 representation is over. It used to be white, now it's been lit up red. Okay, here we go. The car was white, and now it's been lit up red. The car was white as the arch used to be white, and now the arch is lit up red as the car is red. They're telegraphing it's time to unleash the new animal, which is energized by Baal. Okay, so here's some posters from the Beltane Fire Festival. Here it is in 2012 over here. It's a green guy coming through the arch of fire having sex with the human woman. Remember, Rome was founded by a guy, the god of war, Mars, that raped the virgin and created twins. Here's another image of the Beltane Fire Festival. It's the yin-yang symbol, man and woman, right side up and upside down. And here's the dates for the Fire Festival, April 30th. It ends and concludes April 30th. Okay, so man has become a god. This is the representation of the sacrifice of fire that was made to Satan through the arches, which is the Arch of Titus, disguised as the Arch of Washington. In its place has been put the One World Freedom Tower, which represents that new red car. If you go back and watch the other videos, there's the new race of beings right there. That's a representation for the temple, which is the human body as a host body for the new race of beings. And it has 666 at the top because it's Satan's race. That's why when you draw around the perimeter of any one of these U.S. currency notes, you end up with this same image right here down here. You draw around the perimeter, you connect the vertices, and you end up with the pentagram, back to the Sefer Yetzirah, the origin and creation of all things. Number 108, the opposite of God. I hope I've made that clear enough for you. The twins from the garden, Cain and Abel, one right side up, one upside down. Same representation by the Twin Towers, same representation by the Jaguar commercial, have been replaced with a new race of beings represented by the One World Freedom Tower, represented by the new Jaguar, and they're about to unleash all hell on this earth. And that's what I'm trying to warn you about. Sometimes I feel it necessary to give you all the information so you can look it up all yourself. Use your minds, people. Look things up. Now I've delivered it in as short a message as I know how. Prepare yourself. No one knows the hour, the day of the coming of the Son of Man, but the enemy has made very clear his plans, and I can show them to you. There they are. I hope you guys get this. That's as short as I can do it.